Hello, welcome back to our video series where we are reviewing the textbook Understanding Construction Drawings. This video is dedicated to Unit 19, and that is all about framing openings in walls. So after you complete this unit, you'll be able to describe typical rough openings and locate and interpret specific information for framing openings. There are a couple of things that we will review. So that's the dimensions of rough openings and framing openings. So carpenters must calculate the length of all of the headers over windows and doors, and assuming the rough opening is to be 2 inches greater than the width of the door, they need to calculate the length of the header and so on. So let's take a look at the dimensions. There are a few charts here shown in the textbook, so please review that. Go back to the textbook, it's critically important. You will see the window and door schedules. And the size of the rough opening, or RO, or opening in the framing, is listed on the door and window manufacturer's specifications. Door and window schedules are lists of all doors and windows in the house, usually with nominal dimensions. And doors and windows are identified on the floor plan by a mark, a letter, or number. All doors or windows of a certain size and type have the same mark. Each mark is listed on the schedule with the information for the doors or windows of that type and size. So please review the drawings here. So the rough opening dimensions are not usually given on the drawings. They should be obtained from the manufacturer again. Window manufacturers do not list the same size information in their literature, but they do list the rough opening size. So if the finished doorway, the jamb is to be built on the side by a carpenter, the rough opening size will not be available. So in this case, the rough opening for swing doors can be built 2 inches wider and 2 inches higher than the door. And if the door is another type, you must determine what the finished opening is to be. So, and also manufacturers of hardware for sliding and bifold doors usually specify rough opening sizes for doors installed with their hardware. These manufacturers' specs should be consulted as the opening is being framed. So sizes of doors and windows are given with the width first and height second. And this information actually is intended to help determine the rough opening sizes. So usually it's best to consult the manufacturer before specifying anything and before, of course, designing the openings. So when we talk about the framing openings in stud wall construction, it is usually necessary to cut off or completely eliminate one or more studs where windows and doors are installed. And the load normally carried by these studs, that it must be transferred to the sides of the opening. The construction over an opening that transfers this load to the sides of the opening is called the header. Additional studs are installed at the sides to carry this load. And please see the diagram, and you can see the parts of the opening. So there is a double header above the opening. There are jack studs and king studs on both sides, and also other details. So please review the diagrams here. So a set of construction drawings includes details showing the type of rough opening construction intended, and it has been conventional to build headers in exterior walls with two 2x10s or 2x12s and plywood spacers between to form the header. So a flat 2x4 may be nailed to the bottom of the header to reduce the height at the top of the opening, but this flat 2x4 is filler and not a structural part of the header. Following advanced framing techniques, the header may be a single 2x installed flush with the exterior surface of the wall framing, and the decision to use a single ply header must be made by an engineer, considering the loads that will be imposed on the header. The framing around the opening can sometimes be further simplified by replacing the jack studs with steel header hangers and so on. So to conserve lumber in non-bearing walls, the header may be 2x4s, and the area over the header is framed with cripple studs. The area below a window also is framed with cripple studs, and these cripple studs are installed on the normal spacing for wall studs. So it's either 16 or 24 on the center. This may require a cripple within a few inches of a side jack stud, but is necessary to provide a nailing surface for the sheathing. So pocket doors are sliding doors that slide into an opening of the wall, thereby allowing the largest possible opening without swinging into the room. And most builders install pocket doors as a pre-assembled frame. The wall framing to provide the opening into which a pocket door assembly can be installed is generally the same as the framing for any other type of door. So several systems of metal framing are available for light construction. The basic elements of light gauge metal framing are the same as for wood framing, and these systems use top and bottom wall plates, studs, and floor joists. The greatest difference is that metal framing is joined with screws instead of nails. So headers over openings in light gauge metal framing are usually very similar to those in wood framing. However, the system designed by the metal framing manufacturer should always be followed. So that was it for our Unit 19. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in Unit 20.